This is Collaboration for Member Skill Development, a webinar for VISTA supervisors and leaders. In this webinar, we'll be discussing how to support members through collaboration so they can complete their VISTA assignment description, or VAD. I'm your host, Andy King, Senior Training Specialist with AmeriCorps VISTA Headquarters. I'm delighted to be joined today by Vivica Brooks, who is the founder and president of TBG Trains, which is a workforce development organization specializing in training underserved populations. Vivica herself served as an AmeriCorps VISTA member right here in Washington, D.C., and now she also serves as a training facilitator at VISTA in-service trainings. Welcome, Vivica. I'm so happy to have you with us.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Andy. I'm excited to be here with you and to talk about collaboration for member skill development. As Andy mentioned, I am an AmeriCorps VISTA alum, and I can tell you that your support and leadership are essential to members thriving through their service year. Fun little quick fact about me, I enjoy working in teams, and you are a key member of your own teams. Your dedication to making a difference makes a huge impact. So let's take a look at our agenda. We are going to start by defining the purpose and benefits of collaboration. That is, the value that it brings. Next, we'll describe how to identify members' needs. And lastly, we'll explain how to structure collaboration. Now, the purpose of member collaboration is simple. By working with others who are more experienced and knowledgeable, members can identify their learning needs, develop their skills, and receive feedback that will help them successfully complete their service activities. Now, before we discuss how to support members through collaboration, let's explore the benefits of collaboration for members, the project, the organization, and you as supervisors and leaders. Now, collaboration can result in increased job satisfaction and better results for everyone at your organization. However, the VISTA members serving at your organization may receive some specific benefits from it. Expanding job skills is one benefit for members. Creating a collaborative environment where VISTA members can develop professionally will help them serve more effectively. The specific skills members learn will vary from project to project, but some of those overarching ones may include accurately identifying their strengths and weaknesses, recognizing their own training needs, and learning from their mistakes. In general, collaboration can also give members opportunities to practice active listening and their presentation skills. As a result, members can also experience better communication through collaboration. This will help them reflect on how they communicate, how they prefer to receive communication, and that relationship between communication and collaboration. Now, forming professional relationships at their site can help members once they transition out of their year of service and begin a job, go to graduate school, or any other endeavor. Members' contributions during their service may also lead them to becoming a staff member at their organization later. And then finally, the exchange of constructive feedback benefits members by giving them the input of more experienced colleagues and helping them develop a plan for future project activities. Now, earlier I shared that I was an AmeriCorps VISTA member and I served at my site alone. As a service learning coordinator in a Washington, D.C. high school, I had to collaborate with the teachers, the administration, the school community, and the students. The skill of collaboration is what made completing my VAD manageable. So in terms of project teams and the organization overall, collaboration lays the foundation for new, innovative, and better ideas from a pool perspective. Now, this will help make the problem-solving process easier. Implementing these ideas may also go more smoothly because you've now gained buy-in from the beginning and everyone is allowed to contribute. Similarly, project teams benefit from increased productivity as multiple people work together toward the shared outcome. And this collaboration can also improve workplace climate and culture since it helped team members develop trust and respect for one another. When everyone works hard and meets their obligations, teammates know that they can lean on each other for support. Now, it's not just the members who benefit. Supervisors and leaders can benefit as well. A collaborative environment can leave members and staff members feeling more satisfied, motivated, and valued as a part of the organization's larger team. So, setting up networks for members to work may increase team communication, allowing sponsors and leaders to spend less time training and coaching the members themselves. Other staff members who have different areas of expertise, they may be able to support the member in these ways instead. This will free up some time for you to complete other project tasks, which may give you more time later on to work on bad activities with your members. So we've seen there are a lot of benefits to collaboration, but how does it happen? It's important to recognize collaboration itself is a skill, not a value. There are specific behaviors that make collaboration work. Your members may not be experienced in working collaboratively in a workplace setting, so you may need to coach them on how to do this effectively. Let's talk through some possible ways you can achieve this. Now, there are a multitude of ways to foster collaboration. For this session, we'll focus on 4. First, prioritize clear communication among the collaboration partners. Now, this is where active listening serves everyone well. In that regard, be sure to set expectations around roles. When people know what they're supposed to do, it helps to get them moving. Second, foster a growth mindset. Let your members know you want them to stay curious and learn while they're also remaining flexible and adaptable. Third, build trust. Being open to different perspectives and showing that empathy goes a long way. And lastly, understand team dynamics and acknowledge all of us have different working styles. Understanding how your team communicates and delivers will also allow you to make the necessary adjustments. Now, let's explore some formal and informal opportunities to implement collaboration. So on your screen are a few opportunities for formal collaboration. We see team projects, events at your sponsoring organization, and structured one-on-ones. Consider incorporating your members into events at your organization. This could be a planning session or a staff retreat. Now, although attending these events can be a good start, it does not guarantee that members will gain opportunities for collaboration. It's important for members to be proactive about introducing themselves, talking about their service, and engaging in dialogue with others while listening for possible ways to connect further. Now, structured one-on-ones and team projects are a viable pathway to ensure that collaboration is taking place. Consider holding a meeting specifically to allow members to introduce themselves and discuss their service with others at the organization. Now we want to see what kind of opportunities you've given your members. Andy's going to explain.
All right, thanks, Vivica. So as she said, we'd like to hear from you again, and this time it'll be in a quick poll. There may be many collaboration opportunities at your organization, and so we'd like you to share which of these opportunities, the ones listed on your screen, have you provided for your members? You should see a poll pop up with these options on it. Is it through lunch breaks or lunch type gatherings, casual conversations, other kinds of events at your organizations, or through a structured one-on-one? So please select the responses, and there could be more than one, that most closely align with the offerings that you have available. Then be sure to click the submit button. There's no right or wrong answer here. We're really just interested in learning about what your own current collaborative practices are. So we'll give you just a little bit more time to respond, and then we'll take a look at the responses. So I see a few more responses still coming in, though they're slowing down. So I'll give you just a few more seconds. This will be your sort of last call to get your answers in. Um, all right, well, it looks like we're probably seeing all the ones we're going to get. So we'll go ahead and we'll close the poll and share those results. And as you can see here, the biggest option that you all selected, the opportunity for collaboration that most of you are providing, is a structured one-on-one. It seems like almost everyone is doing that, 91%. Another big majority of you, 71%, through casual conversations and offering that type of collaborative opportunity. The others got good uptake as well. So it looks like all of these are viable opportunities at Vista Projects. So really appreciate you sharing your practices here. Um, and, it's great that the majority of you, again, like 91%, said structured one-on-one, because we're going to focus on that for our session today. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Vivica, who's going to outline the process for structuring a one-on-one.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. So now we've been able to see the purpose and benefits of collaboration and some ways you can encourage your members to collaborate. So let's dig into structuring one-on-ones for member success. Now, these one-on-one collaborations are different from the regularly scheduled one-on-one meetings you conduct with each member. The purpose of these structured one-on-ones is to give the member a chance to work with someone with specific skills and experience who can help them complete their VAD activities. So as we said, for this webinar, we're going to be focusing on those structured one-on-ones. And members may find it easier to collaborate directly with someone who has the skill or skills they need to learn, especially since their service takes place over a relatively short time frame. Now, here are 7 steps we developed that can help you kick off a successful one-on-one collaboration. Identify your members' needs. So for example, a VISTA project might involve activities such as data collection or community outreach, with which a member might have limited experience. We'll talk in more detail about how to do this in a few minutes, but for now, just know that this is an important first step to supporting a structured collaboration. After that, identify collaboration partners for your member. Now, you may have thought of someone earlier on in this process. However, there may also be a longer list of potential collaborators. And knowing your members' development needs beforehand can help you find a person and get their buy-in or commitment to that process. Next, determine the goal or outcome you'd like to see from the collaboration. And this really serves as a dedicated endpoint for the collaboration process. So when the member and their partner, they can now evaluate whether they want to continue working together. And once you know that both the member and the partner are committed, set parameters for the roles and expectation each person takes on. Now, ideally, the partner will work alongside the member to show them how to do the task rather than do it for the member. You'll also want to set up communication guidelines so the member and partner are staying in sync. Next, we're going to create a timeline that includes the major phases of the collaboration. So this might include a training period, a period of working together, and then the point where the member is able to take over the task, although they still may need to reach out with any questions or additional thoughts they may have. Then the collaboration partners will need to work to maintain this collaboration. And then finally, you'll want to monitor progress as it's being made and evaluate the results of the collaboration. So let's talk about the behaviors that will help members be successful in their collaboration. So for a collaborative process to succeed, the participants need to know how to work together effectively. This is what I was referring to when I said collaboration is a skill and not a value. First, all parties need to understand their role within the collaboration. For effective collaboration, each person needs to understand what their responsibilities are and how they contribute to the end product or outcome. This will allow them to avoid confusion and reach milestones more efficiently. Next, encourage your member to listen carefully and ask questions whenever they are unsure. This will help them learn from people who have previous experience, especially if they are new to the workforce or the project's field. The collaboration partners need to share resources freely. Make sure your members know how to access any documents, platforms, or resources they might need, and in turn, empower members to share appropriate resources with their partners. And along that similar vein, using digital tools can make collaboration easier. Some of these might include applications that support messaging, file sharing, and project management. And finally, celebrate accomplishments. Recognizing the contributions of others helps keep morale high and can lead to positive results. Together, these practices can provide a great foundation for members who are newer to collaboration in a professional setting. Now, we'll come back to them throughout the webinar as we discuss how to structure a collaboration. Now, to prepare for a structured one-on-one collaboration, focus on opportunities that will help each team member sustain cooperation. Now, here's some practices you can model to support this goal. First, by modeling openness and listening, you can teach team members the valuable skill of active listening. Active listening encourages team members to understand each other's perspectives, which can reduce conflict and improve team dynamics. Practice empathy. This allows individuals to better understand each other's challenges and experiences, which fosters stronger connection and cooperation. Make sure to incorporate constructive feedback loops to help improve team performance by encouraging growth and learning. Remember, when people know they're on the right path, they keep moving. And we want to balance leadership and teamwork goals. Good partners assess situations and know when to step in to lead versus when they need to support others. And then communicate clearly to ensure ideas are understood and can be implemented. Acknowledging each team member's contribution to the success of the goals, this helps everyone feel valued and appreciated. Prioritize solutions that encourage cooperation and not competition. So now we've gotten some insight into some of those key collaboration practices. Let's talk about the first step in structuring a successful collaboration: identifying member needs using the VAD. The VISTA Assignment Description, or VAD, is a great roadmap to use for both you and the member. It helps to chart a path for their service year. VADs contain the project goal, the objectives, and specific activities for the VISTA member to perform during their year of service. Now, when your VISTA member begins their service, you will have likely already have a base level understanding of their skills and experiences from their application and interview responses. But it's important to remember that these resources merely provide a snapshot of their background and may not tell the whole story. Once they've begun their service, it's important to help them identify the supports they will need to complete their work and meet their goals. This includes asking members what skills they may need to develop to be successful or have them complete an assessment. Knowing their support needs will also help you identify potential mentors and collaboration partners outside of their supervisor and leader. So let's think about who can assist you. Andy?
Yep. Thanks, Vivica. So
Okay.
here's another chance for you to join the conversation. Again, using the chat. So at the start of the session, we invited you to think about the types of skills your members need to develop. And so with that in mind, we'd like to hear, who might your member collaborate with to help build their skills? So here we're looking for a job title or maybe a brief phrase that gives the idea of this individual's role. We'll put some music on and give you a moment to share your ideas in the chat. And please remember to send your ideas to everyone. All right, so we've got some great contributions coming in here. Everything from grant specialists, data specialists, volunteer coordinators, folks who are working in marketing and communications and outreach. Some of these are showing up multiple times. Some are just looking at other staff in general. Some talking about alumni, members who had served previously and have moved on to other roles. Working with the project director or their direct supervisor. So great. If you have other ideas, please keep sharing those. Always welcome to have those ideas. Vivica, I'm curious to see what you think about these responses that we've seen.
Yeah, I see the same when you had mentioned, whether it's a specific person with a title like the outreach coordinator or a grant specialist, to even more broadly working with VISTA members or other team members or staff. So I think we're already starting to see who is it we need to kind of put in place. And so that's going to allow us to see how we can jump right into how to structure the collaboration. So thank you all for your responses. And while we're thinking about that, you guys just answered that question. Who has the necessary skills to assist the member? Let's try to categorize some of your responses. Now, one obvious possibility, which many of you noted, is other staff members at the organization who may already have experience in an area related to the member's service activities. Another one that came up in the chat, other VISTA members may also make good partners, especially ones who may be further into their service year. And they may have specific skills that can be helpful to the newer members while they're building their own skills. Another great resource, board members. Board members can help connect members to outside organizations or resources. Some board members may have significant experience in a certain field and be influential partners for the member. And we're all thinking about building capacity. So have to make sure volunteers or other community members connected with the organization may have certain knowledge, skills, and experience they can use to provide additional insights for the member. They also may have connections to people and organizations in the area, bringing a perspective outside of your organization that can help guide VISTA members as they work to address the needs of the community. And of course, perhaps you yourself, you have personal and professional connections at the organization that may provide awareness and understanding that will help your members complete their VAT activities. These connections may also help the member with their own professional growth and reveal future opportunities for them. So allow me to introduce you to Sarah. Sarah is a VISTA supervisor at a small sponsoring organization that uses volunteers but doesn't have a paid volunteer manager. Sarah is beginning to set up a structured one-on-one collaboration for her VISTA member. The member's VAT includes developing a new volunteer recruitment platform, which will make the application process easier for potential volunteers and keep existing volunteers engaged. The member has limited experience working with volunteers. However, the member has strong data management and communication skills. Now, before we dive a little deeper into our discussion, let's take a moment to answer a quick poll question to get your input. Andy?
Yeah, so now we'd like you to consider what Sarah and her member might want out of this one-on-one collaboration. So which of these people would be the best collaboration partner for the member? Should the member partner with an HR manager, a communications coordinator, an IT technician, or a volunteer? So you should see a poll popping up on your screen. We'll give you a few seconds to respond to that, and then we'll take a look. All right, we'll give you just about 5 more seconds to get your responses in. Looks like maybe 2/3 of you have responded, but want to give everyone a chance on this. All righty. Well, thank you for participating. Looks like most everyone's gotten their answer in. We'll go ahead and close that off, and we'll look at the correct answer here on the slide. In our mind, the best answer here was the volunteer. And the reason we say that is an experienced volunteer could provide the member with some fundamental information about how volunteers are recruited at the organization and how they're managed. And that would help the member to design a more effective recruitment platform. All right, so thanks everyone for participating in this activity. Vivica is going to continue now talking about the process for setting up a collaboration.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. So we are up to step number 3, okay? And in our poll question, we just looked at who did Sarah need to identify for the appropriate collaboration partner for her member. Now, after completing the needs assessment and identifying a collaboration partner, it's crucial to establish clear goals and expectations that are mutually beneficial and that are agreed upon by the member, the partner, and the supervisor. And this is going to highlight to the members that the benefits of their service, it goes both ways. Their efforts will build their organization's capacity, while project staff members will also invest in their professional growth. Now, you guys may be familiar with the concept of SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. You can help your member and the partner to set up SMART goals at the beginning so then they can refer to them regularly to make sure they're moving in the right direction and staying on schedule. Now, once you've gotten buy-in from both the member and their partner on the overall goal, you'll need to set up parameters to ensure a smooth collaboration. Now, these include some of the things we talked about earlier, like establishing roles and expectations so each contributor knows what their responsibilities are. Now, in our one-on-one model, the collaboration partner's role is to mentor the member in specific areas, demonstrating how to perform certain tasks, allowing the member to practice, offer feedback and guidance, and then eventually allowing the member to take over the task fully. Another parameter you can help set are some communication protocols, so the collaboration partners can stay in sync with one another and you can stay informed of their progress and any issues that may arise. Now, one of these parameters, you should also address the process of conflict resolution or how the member and their collaboration partner will handle and resolve disagreements. So let's discuss those last two ideas a bit more. Collaboration partners will want to agree on their communication protocols. So some questions you can use to help guide this discussion could be, how will communication take place? And what communication channels will we use? Also thinking about, will you meet weekly? Will you send each other messages or emails daily? Asking these questions ensures both people know what to expect and allow members to feel more confident asking questions or starting discussions. As a sponsor or leader, you can encourage members to set up regular check-ins if they aren't having them already and engage in feedback loops. Encourage your member to use consistent communication schedules and formats to help both people stay organized. Now, they can adjust these things as necessary. For example, a member might find it helpful to meet more frequently while they're completing certain activities, or they might prefer to meet in person over virtually. Now, my team touched up our use of technology at this stage. We found that calendar and productivity apps help implement effective communication practices for everyone. Now, another helpful step is establishing a plan for addressing and resolving disagreements or conflicts that may arise between the member and their collaboration partner. Now, don't shy away from conflict. I think the word conflict gets a bad rap. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that I view conflict as an unmet need. It takes place because something's missing. So let's chat about how we can meet that need. First, address issues early and directly. Be mindful and stay focused on the issue. Put on a reporter hat and simply gather the facts. This objective focus allows collaboration partners to maintain focus and composure, which may be challenging when conflict arises within a one-on-one collaboration. Second, listen actively and use open-ended questions. Earlier, we discussed how important it is for members to stay curious. Now, this is an excellent time for you to do the same. Your curiosity about why this need is unmet can uncover areas where each partner may need additional support from the other. Third, we want to seek out solutions. Brainstorming is a great facilitation tool that involves both individuals while generating solutions, helping to foster a sense of ownership and accountability. And lastly, but definitely not least, is follow-up. And follow-up can take on many forms, from a quick check-in to see how things are going or how the member is feeling, to more formal follow-ups like holding a debrief. After resolving a conflict, review what led to it and identify ways to prevent similar situations in the future. It may be partners need to adjust their practices. Consider if processes, expectations, or communication styles need changing based on the conflict resolution experience. Now, employees and members are often working on several tasks at once. And because of that, it's a good idea to create a timeline for collaboration. This can include setting realistic final deadlines for tasks and identifying critical incremental milestones. Here's a process you can try. Work backwards from the deadline. Now, this strategy is my personal favorite. This allows you to backdate or reverse engineer what you need to accomplish, providing a roadmap and clear time frame. Think about it as beginning with the ending in mind. Identify the critical milestones early on. So we had used the example of database access. If you cannot directly grant access, start thinking about who can grant access and if any steps need to be completed for the access to be given. No one wants to be locked out when they could be contributing to the goal. This also gets you thinking about partnership or other partnerships you need to bring on to accomplish a task. So in our poll question scenario, we use the task of creating a volunteer recruitment and management platform. That project has key phases: planning, development, testing, implementation, and monitoring and evaluation. All of these rely on a collaborative effort. And finally, create buffers. Life happens to all of us. Make sure you are building in time for life's events. If you know a task needs to be completed by February 1, maybe set an internal deadline for the week prior. Just like with communication protocols, you may want to look into different tools for tracking progress, such as shared documents, calendar apps, or project management software. Now, we've just looked at how to structure a collaboration. Now, let's explore how you can keep collaborations thriving. We discussed 5 key collaboration practices that are especially helpful for members who are new to professional collaboration. Now, many of those practices come into play when it's time to actively maintain collaboration. Let's examine how practices like sharing resources, using digital tools, and celebrating others might manifest in the course of project work. Transparency and accountability help build trust within a collaboration. Everyone wants to be informed, whether they are on a team of 50 or a team of 2. Being caught off guard can lead to uncertainty and unwanted issues, so both partners need to be accountable for their commitments and deliverables. A large part of transparency is ensuring everyone has access. Now, technology is a gift in this area. Trello, Slack, or Microsoft Teams can help you organize tasks, facilitate communication, and track progress. They can also help you keep project documents, timelines, and resources accessible in one place so each person can easily find the information and stay aligned. Google Workspace offers free or discounted technology services to most nonprofit organizations. And then we want to celebrate all of the work. All of the work is important, and it's important to celebrate it as morale is a key driver in productivity. Members' contributions can be recognized in many ways, from small gestures to public celebrations or tangible rewards. It can reinforce positive behaviors. Now, our step number 7, another important one, is effectively monitor and evaluate one-on-one collaboration. It requires tracking progress, ensuring alignment, and identifying potential issues early. Now, here are some ideas for monitoring that partnership. Performance metrics can help you establish measurable indicators to evaluate the collaboration success. Some examples of performance metrics include the number of volunteers recruited and the number of volunteers engaged with the program. Progress reports are another great tool to use. They provide updates and can highlight accomplishments achieved, reiterate tasks to complete, and spotlight each partner's work. To take it a step further, presenting this information to your organization's team can serve as an excellent professional development opportunity for members. For teams aware, to be sure to describe the method for evaluating the collaboration's effectiveness. You could use surveys, performance reviews, or data analysis around productivity, to name a few examples. You can also hold retrospective meetings. Review what worked well and what you'd like to improve upon regularly. Use these insights to adjust processes and enhance future collaboration. To make the most of meeting time, have each partner reflect prior on what worked and what didn't in advance. And both individuals should be open to feedback throughout the collaboration. Now, ideally, they will periodically review progress toward objectives and evaluate their communication processes and timeline. This practice allows them to identify improvement areas and make necessary adjustments. Now, I'm curious, If you have thoughts about how you might measure the success of a collaboration, Andy's going to set up our next activity.
All right, so for this chat activity, we'd like you to share how you would evaluate the success of your members' collaboration. So are there specific things you would measure? Where would you get information to inform your evaluation? So we'd love to see your thoughts on any aspect of this question. Again, our question is, how would you evaluate the success of a member's collaboration at your organization? We'll put some music on and give you a few moments to respond. All right, so we've got some great responses coming in here. A number of you have mentioned using monthly reports or other types of reporting that you already have in place. It's a great one, building from what already exists. Some of you talked about doing things maybe verbally through check-in meetings or other types of conversations with your members around particular activities or events. A few of you talked about having some other kind of formal evaluation, again, collecting data. And some of you mentioned very specific data points like event attendance numbers and numbers of volunteers engaged and looking at evaluation surveys, perhaps from participants. So great, very practical examples there. Some of you talked about the frequency of doing it. So having a monthly report or weekly performance measures. And then, again, having those conversations and, that direct engagement with your members to hear how things are going. So a real range of activities here that you all mentioned. Vivica, I'm curious what you saw among these responses that stood out for you.
Well, in addition to what you've already spotlighted, Andy, even the self-reflection assessment tool, like the Vista in the beginning, kind of seeing where I am and then checking in with them later on and allowing the member to have some self-reflection time and think about how their service has gone. I think those are great ways in which, and clearly you all are, communicating with your Vista members. So it's wonderful as we're thinking about how you can evaluate the success of your members' collaboration. And with that, thinking about, we're going to shift to long-term collaboration. And we have been talking about collaborations involving a single member within the context of their 12-month service term. And sponsors need to operate on a longer time frame. And there may be value in setting up a long-term collaboration that could benefit several members over multiple years. It can be helpful for the same person to collaborate with multiple members as the project is progressing. And if your member continues working with the organization after their service term, an ongoing collaboration will help them continue achieving goals that build organizational capacity. Now, planning for long-term collaboration will provide you with a framework as you're bringing on other VISTA members into the organization. allowing the collaborative problem solving and continuous learning and innovation to keep moving forward. A quarterly review of members' VADs with supervisors, sponsors, and members themselves could help you identify areas for collaboration with their current partners again. And as sponsors and leaders, you can support your members by building a network of AmeriCorps alumni for future initiatives. So VISTA members can benefit significantly from collaborating with these alumni. They already have existing understanding of the program and how VISTA service operates. Now, great resources at LinkedIn alumni page to direct them to. Your leadership in this process is vital to its success. Now, I've mentioned how collaboration played a key role during my VISTA year of service, and the connections I made during that time led me to work with DC Public Schools after my service year. I also learned the value in building up underserved communities in that environment. Today, I focus my efforts on developing those communities, helping them use workforce development training as a pathway to self-sufficiency. I view that as a successful outcome of long-term collaboration. Now, let's quickly touch on a few more factors that collaboration partners and those setting up a collaboration need to consider. Now, first, organizational culture can shape the nature of a collaboration, especially for VISTA members who may not be familiar with their organization's values, work culture, and overall expectations. To facilitate members' collaboration, you will need to think about how you will align the members' perspectives with these things. Another aspect of organizational culture is diversity and inclusion. AmeriCorps members come from a variety of backgrounds. Your member may have different life experiences from your organization's staff members, which can heavily influence a collaboration. It's also important to ensure that the resources members need are available. What financial, material, and human resources might they need for the collaboration? Your organization may need to adjust budgets or allocate resources differently to meet training, equipment, or supervision needs. For example, AmeriCorps members specifically need to receive an on-site orientation and training. This generally involves facilitating introductions between members and potential partners and orienting them both to the organization and the project. This might take extra coordination, but an effective OSAP can set your member up for better collaboration and a smoother service term overall. Now, let me turn it over to Andy for our last activity.
All right, so as usual, we have a question so you can, kind of help you to gauge how well you've been following along. So in a moment, a poll will appear with a question on it for you to answer. But first, I'm going to set up a quick scenario. Rose is a supervisor, and she's setting up a collaboration for her VISTA member. She already has identified the member's needs. She identified a collaboration partner, established a goal, and they've created a timeline together. So based on what you see here, which step should Rose take next? So now it's your turn to answer a poll. Remember, the scenario is in the chat if you want to refer back to it. So the question is, should Rose secure a long-term commitment from the partner, analyze the member's VAD, establish roles and other parameters, or set up informal networking opportunities? So you should see the poll on your screen. If you would submit your answer there, we'll give you a minute or so and come back. right, I see the responses slowing down, so we'll give you just another few seconds to think about this and get your answer in. All right, so looks like most everybody has responded, so we'll go ahead and we'll close the poll and we'll talk about the answer here. So in thinking about this, in our view, the best answer here would be answer C, to establish roles in other parameters. So assuming this is a short-term project, there wouldn't really need to be a long-term commitment from the partner. Rose would already have likely analyzed the VAD as she was analyzing the VISTA member's needs. And then with this one-on-one opportunity, the member won't immediately need to do other informal networking. So that's why we thought C was the best answer here. Great work on the question. Almost everybody got that one right. Thank you. And next, Vivica has some resources to share.
All right. Thank you, Andy. What a great session we had today. I want to thank each of you for your participation and service as leaders, supervisors, and sponsors. Now, here are some additional resources to help you get started or strengthen what you already have in place. First, I'd like to suggest two LinkedIn Learning online courses. The first one, being an effective team member, and second, working on a cross-functional team. Now, these courses can be accessed through your local library system if you don't have a subscription. Just enter in your library card number. And we mentioned earlier that it is essential that members are proactive in describing their service and seeking additional support in areas of need. The courses can allow members to explore ways that they can show up to further the organization's capacity while they're also investing in their own professional development. The next one is the Good Project. They have a toolkit you can use immediately to set up networks within your organization and incorporate members into the process. And that last resource is from the Stanford Social Innovation Review. It's a collection of articles from the nonprofit and social sector that includes some practical guidance on collaborating in a variety of environments. So again, I thank you for participating. I enjoyed spending time with you this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vivica, for sharing all this really useful information. So now we're going to turn to our audience and ask for their input. We'd love to hear what you think about this webinar. Your feedback is incredibly valuable, particularly for Vivica, so she can hear directly from you what you thought about it. We have a brief survey, invite you to take a few moments to complete that. The link for that is in the chat. It's also probably already open in your browser window. Just so you know, we review all the responses and we use that information to help us improve not only this presentation for the future and also to get ideas for other sessions we could offer. So thank you in advance. And speaking of future sessions, our next webinar for sponsors and leaders is a little ways off. It's on February 20th, again at the same time, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on the topic of writing effective VISTA assignment descriptions. A link to register for that is in the chat. You'll also be getting an invitation in your inbox. So you can always see, of course, what's coming up by visiting the calendar on the VISTA campus. And speaking of the VISTA campus, I'm going to quickly plug our latest set of online courses. We've added a new learning path for members who are involved with project coordination. This month, we've launched 2 new courses there. One is the role of a project coordinator, and the other is planning your project coordination. So what we've found from doing some analysis is that most members are in the role of project coordinator as they develop, organize, and implement a plan for completing their VISTA assignment. This learning path includes the first 2 e-learning modules to provide a foundation for project coordination. We will be adding additional courses to this learning path in the coming months, so keep your eyes out for that. Um, to access this, you'll just log into the Vista campus, go to the catalog, and then look for the project coordinator role. You can also follow the link that Tessa has dropped in the chat. All right, so now we want to see what questions you have that we can answer. Remember, we have a Q&A panel. If you don't see it, it's at the, move your cursor, you'll see it pop up at the bottom of the screen. And post your question there. It makes it easier for us to respond. And we have a question that came in just a little bit earlier from Monique. So Vivica, Monique asks, how do you help the Vista member speak more about their current goals rather than their past experience? And I guess maybe this is in the context of looking for collaboration opportunities or doing that networking and connection with potential partners. So any thoughts on that one, Vivica?
Yeah, thanks, Monique, for that question. I think this is where, I really view the VAD as a roadmap. And so in your next structured one-on-one, I would definitely have the Vista bring their VAD and then have them identify, which activities that they're currently working on. And then you, as a supervisor leader, can start that discussion around any supports they may need, and then asking them, okay, and then what's your next step to doing that or to achieving it? And then making sure that you're setting up some type of follow-up to check back in with them. And I think that's really going to help them stay in the present and not so much looking at what's going on in the past. So I would definitely use that VAD to help spark that conversation.
All right, excellent. So thank you very much for that question, Monique, and Vivica, thanks for your response. We're really nearing the end of our time, so we'll go ahead and move on to wrap up. I want to thank our presenter, Vivica Brooks, for such an informative session here. I also want to thank our instructional design crew. That includes Vanessa Francis, Elizabeth Floyd, and Cameron Greenup. Our session producers today were Christina Quinones Stella and Tessa Marshall. But most of all, thank you for participating. Delighted to have you here. This concludes our webinar. Thank you so much for joining.